We can solve for volume of a cylindrical shape, and a cylindrical shape has a circular area that has been extruded, so you're going to have height to a circular shape. And we have a word problem here. Let me go ahead and read it, and then we'll use the formula and then solve it. What is the volume of the cubic feet of this 4-inch thick slab that has a radius of 147 inches and an arc angle of 60 degrees? You saw something similar to this in our area lesson, and we can apply some of those rules here. In order to calculate the portion of any cylinder, we need to calculate the whole and then figure the amount of that full portion. To solve for this entire circular shape, we can use this formula: volume, or V, equals pi r squared times the height, or the thickness, of the slab. Let's go ahead and input some numbers and then solve for it. So volume equals 3.1416, that's pi, times 147 inches, which is our radius, times 147 inches, that gives us our radius squared. And then we're going to multiply that times the height, or thickness, of this slab of 4 inches. Our radius squared, or 147 inches times 147 inches, equals 21,609 square inches. Now we have three numbers we can multiply together. We have V equals 3.1416 times 21,609 square inches times 4 inches. That equals 271,547.34 cubic inches. Our answer needs to be in different units than cubic inches, so let's divide this number of cubic inches by our 1,728 cubic inches per cubic foot. So 271,547.34 cubic inches divided by 1,728 cubic inches per cubic foot equals 157.15 cubic feet. Now that we've solved our volume calculation for our total slab, we need to figure out what this portion is of that total. So we'll set that up with a similar equation with some extra information. So now our equation is V, which is volume, equals pi r squared h, which is pi times radius squared times height, and we're going to multiply that times the angle of degrees of this portion of the whole over 360 degrees. Plugging our numbers in, V equals 157.15 cubic feet times 60 over 360. We can simplify that fraction of 60 over 360 to 1 over 6. This will be easier for us to calculate. Now we have 157.13 cubic feet times 1/6. We can express this in a different way that makes it easier to calculate. So the same thing as 157.13 cubic feet times 1/6, the equivalent to that would be 157.15 cubic feet divided by 6. We're just inverting the fraction, and when we invert the fraction, we can turn our multiplication into division. So now when we solve this, 157.15 cubic feet divided by 6 will give us a cubic foot measurement of 26.72. What that 26.72 cubic feet gives us is this piece of the pie. If you ever wanted a piece of the pie, there it is. So this is the portion of the whole, and it's given to us in cubic feet. We can also calculate the volume of a cylinder. We use a lot of cylinders in construction. This would be a typical column or a pier or a piling in a foundation. I'll read the word problem and then we'll set it up and then we'll solve it. We need to pour 10 concrete columns with a diameter of 24 inches and a height of 12.3 inches. How many cubic yards of concrete will be required? Let's go over our equation. That's going to be volume equals pi times the radius squared times the height. And remember, we've been given our diameter, so we need to calculate our radius, which is always going to be half of our diameter. In this case, our diameter is 24 inches, so our radius will be 12 inches. Let's plug these numbers in. Pi is always 3.1416. We can multiply that times our radius squared times our height of our column, which is going to be 12 feet 3 inches. Let's convert all of our measurements to inches. That'll make it easier for calculations. So we have pi times 12 inches, which is our radius, times 12 inches, that's our radius squared, times 147 inches, which is 12 foot 3 inches into inches. So now we can multiply these three numbers together. We have 3.1416 times 144 square inches, that's our radius squared, times 147 inches. That's going to give us 66,501.39 cubic inches. We need to convert our cubic inches into cubic yards, and we can do that with a simple number, which is 46,656. When we divide 66,501.39 cubic inches by this number of 46,656, it's going to give us a cubic yard measurement of 1.425. This 1.425 cubic yards is going to be the amount of volume that's in one cylindrical column that is 12 foot 3 inches tall. We need 10 of these columns, so we're going to multiply this 1.425 number by 10, which will give us our total volume for all 10 columns of 14.25 cubic yards. This video is a production of Trade Skills U, all rights reserved.